I hold this institution to be a spiritual institution. It's on grounds that are very sacred to our people. The spirits have talked to this institution. They've talked to the leadership, and they've talked to students coming here. It emanates, throughout this institution. When I first come here, when I went to bed that first night, I heard an owl hoot, and it took me back home. I was raised by grandparents and sleeping in a house next to my grandpa, and he'd be singing Lakota, and I could hear the owls outside. Anytime I hear that owl, it would take me back to my childhood. And seemingly every time I got lonesome, that owl would hoot right outside the window on one of these trees. And then Thanksgiving, I packed everything up and I went home. I quit, and my grandma was sewing a blanket, and she said if Pop were alive, he would want you in school. And I said, I know it, and I got up and hugged her and told her I loved her and kissed her, and I made a commitment to myself to finish college. And when I come back, I never heard that owl again. The friendships that I developed, both with staff and students, going out for football when I had no business. I never played football, and soon learned after 3 weeks that there was, design plays where 4 guys could hit you at the same time. I knew then I had to go somewhere else. So I signed up for wrestling, never wrestled. And little did I know there, you had to start the day off by running 6 miles. And a big memory probably is graduation. Couldn't believe I finished my 4 years and my family was here, and it was just a momentous occasion. When I was finishing up my PhD in educational administration, I received a phone call, and it was a Stanley Redbird Sr., and he wanted some type of measure by which to prepare the people for their future. When Stanley talked to me, he said, we're now looking for an Indian to be in a position of leadership. And he said, we've always depended upon medicine men in their ceremonies. The 2 that had ceremonies come back and said, go find Lionel Bordeaux and tell him that he's to be the next president at Sinte Gleska University. And I've just been really fortunate, in having all these honors, giving honorary doctorates from the world's higher education university. I got on every Indian organization in the country, either as a member and in time as the president or the chairperson. Then I also got on a tribal council, a tribal legislator, and I was a legislator at home. I was president of the National Indian Education Association. I was president of the Tribal College American Indian Higher Education Consortium. We've been called upon to redefine and restructure who we are. Stanley and the founders wanted tribal colleges to be the vehicle to address who we are and to take self-determination through spirituality and education and develop the people who had the wisdom, the bravery, the courage, the trust, the respect, the resilience of our ancestry, so that our young ones can have direction and they can have a history where people had them in mind when they begin to talk about their future. I think what's happening here, it's starting something new. There's going to be a new paradigm in human relations that is going to evolve because of what President Tom Jackson and others have done. I think between tribal colleges, and particularly Sinte Gleska University, Black Hills State University, and we have a tribally enrolled member who is the president at South Dakota State University, Dr. Barry Dunn. I think you're going to see these institutions start to come together, and there's going to be a common purpose that's going to be developed. in the future of all mankind. In Indian culture, naming something is a tremendous honor. When I left the house, 4 eagles flew over. When I was coming not too far here, 6 eagles flew over. To me, these are good signs of why I'm here, and I'm just amazed, and I'm just so thankful that I'm an alumni. Very thankful for this day and for my ancestry and for what I learned here.